I have a colorful project to share today, so let's get chalking. Or should I say, let's get inking. Also, if you're new to this channel, be sure to like and subscribe so you can see more of my videos. Hey friends, so today I want to create a project using this map transfer. I absolutely love this. I love how all of the states have their names in there. I love the fonts. Such a fun transfer. I've been thinking of different ways that I can use this, and I decided that today I pulled out this embroidery hoop, and you can see it's about the perfect size for this transfer. I actually picked these up at yard sales and estate sales. You see this one was taped together with some other ones. I think this one was what, $4. I picked it up with a few. You can see I've got a bunch. I've got two that are actually the same size. I've got these. I think these were all taped together probably. But I always like to pick them up for projects. They're, you know, super inexpensive. Like I said, especially when you pick them up at a yard sale or a thrift shop, or, you know, I'm a big thrifter. So I thought I'm gonna create something on here with this transfer, and I'm gonna use this fabric that I have that I've used in different projects. It's a real lightweight, I think it's cotton. It's kind of like a, I don't know if it's called muslin, or I actually created another project with a club transfer with that same fabric. If you remember, I'll link that video in the description down below. And here's another hoop that I used. So first thing I need to do is I need to iron this fabric, and then I'm going to pull out some inks, and then I'm going to get to inking. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to cut my fabric to about the size of the hoop. Obviously I'm cutting it bigger than the hoop. I want to make sure that I have enough room for that. And then once I do that, I'm gonna iron my fabric. You always want to start off with fabric that's not full of a bunch of wrinkles, because it will show through when you ink or chalk your fabric. So then I grabbed one of my ink mats to help keep my fabric in place, and it's actually the perfect size. This transfer is 12 by 18, and it fits perfectly in that sticky space. Gonna make sure that I write on the back of my backer paper so that I know which side my transfer goes on. And you'll see here in just a second, I accidentally stuck the transfer to itself when I was flipping it over. So if you do this, just be very careful and very patient. You can see I'm pulling it back slowly, kind of doing a little seesaw effect. If it sticks really bad, you can do that under warm water, and that will help pull it apart. But you never want to yank on your transfer or pull or stretch it. So I'm just setting my hoop on here to make sure that it fits okay in the fabric. And then I'm going to grab these fun, bright inks. I grabbed, let's see, Tide, Couture Teal, Kiwi, Couture Coral, and then Orange Peel. And actually I ended up switching out the Tide for Midnight Sky, which is a deeper blue, and I'm really happy that I switched that out. Although the other one, Tide, would have looked really nice too. And also, side note, I probably should have moved my transfer a little bit over to the right on the fabric. Oh, and I got some ink on my fingers always, so I made sure to clean that off of my fingers before I continued, just so that I don't get any ink on my fabric where I don't want it to go. And then I'm just going to do kind of a messy ombre effect. I'm going to grab each color, doing a little swipe or a little row or whatever you want to call it, and then I'm going to grab the next one, and they're going to kind of blend into each other. And then once I'm done putting the ink on there, I'm going to grab another squeegee, and I'm going to squeegee them together, which will kind of mix the colors, and it's going to make it look so cool. I love this technique. If you've never tried it, I encourage you to try it. There's no right or wrong. It's just so much fun to just mix up all the colors and get a little messy. So as I'm pulling my transfer up, I noticed a couple of those little spots that were smaller needed a little bit more love with the ink. So I gave it a little bit more ink with my squeegee, and then I pulled that off, and it is so cool. I love how this turned out. It's so much fun. So as y'all know, I am impatient. So rather than letting it air dry, I'm going to give it a good dry with my hair dryer. And then I'm going to kind of touch up a couple tiny little spots that needed a little extra love. That's what these great little tools are great for, and I will be sure to link those below. But once it's dry, I'm going to pull it up, and I'm actually going to dry the back side as well. And when I pull this up, you will see why it is important to use the ink mat. Not only does it keep your fabric from moving, but you can see with this fabric, it actually bled through a bit onto my chalk mat or my ink mat. So you certainly wouldn't want that happening on your desk or on your surface. So I highly suggest using or encourage you to use an ink mat. And then once the ink is dry, I'm going to heat set it front and back, and then I'm going to do something fun with this map. So once my ink was dry and all heat set, I started putting it in my embroidery hoop, making sure that it fit in there right. And you can see there, I definitely have more fabric excess on the right side than the left. And I kind of wish I would have inked that a little bit more to the right. But you know what? It works out just fine. So then I grabbed some embroidery floss because I thought it would be fun to hand stitch some hearts for the states where we lived in. And I didn't put those in the exact right spots on each state because I didn't want to cover up the names of the states. So I just kind of fit it in there where it would fit. I grabbed some blue embroidery floss, and I will be sure to link a video of a little video of DIY on how to make these little embroidery hearts. You can see I kind of tested one at the bottom of my fabric before I continued, but just adds a little extra dimension, a little personalized touch. I think it would also be fun to maybe add some stitching across, you know, if you moved from one state to another, to kind of add some stitching from one state to another. But again, these can all be personalized to whatever you like, which is what makes these projects so much fun. So you can see I kind of went back and forth with adding a little bit of greenery along with my ribbon, but in the end I felt like it just didn't work with this project, so I just grabbed a couple of pieces of ribbon, and then I also used that smaller ribbon to tie a knot in front to kind of hide the pipe cleaner that's holding my bow on, and then I can also use that to hang my project if I decide to. So I hope you enjoyed this project. I hope this inspires you to grab some color and just play with color, whether it's the ink or chalk paste. You can do the exact same thing with the chalk paste on a chalkboard. I hope you enjoyed this project. If you'd like to see more, be sure you like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.